Hi everyone, this is Scott Swanay with Fantasy Baseball Sherpa, here with the 2012 Fantasy Baseball preview of the Cincinnati Reds hitters. Cincinnati should win the NL Central this year. I predict that they're going to finish with a record of 85 and 77. The Cardinals and the Brewers are also trendy picks, but I will stick with the Reds. Now, the Reds have, hitting-wise, they've got two good sluggers and a bunch of good complementary players. As far as mixed league options goes, Joey Votto, first baseman, is the best National League first baseman now that Albert Pujols and Prince Fielder have moved on to the greener pastures of the American League. Votto will hit roughly 315, 30 to 35 homers, 110 runs batted in. He'll steal 10 bases, which is great for a first baseman, and he'll score 100 runs. Brandon Phillips, the second baseman, is still one of the best fantasy options at second base. He'll hit 290, 20 home runs, 80 runs batted in. He'll steal 20 bases and score 95 runs. Jay Bruce is also a good mixed league option, the outfielder. His average is the only thing that keeps him from being a superstar on par with Joey Votto. His average should be 260-ish. He'll hit 35 home runs, drive in 100 runs, and he'll steal 5 to 10 bases. Drew Stubbs, another Cincinnati outfielder, his average is the big thing holding him back too. His average, I forecast, will be 250. He'll hit 15 to 20 home runs, 60 runs batted in. He'll steal 45 bases, which is great, and he'll also score 100 runs. Devin Mesoraco, the rookie catcher, is also a good mixed league fantasy option this year. He's a rookie, but he will replace Ryan Hanigan as the Reds' primary catcher before long. He won't hit much for average, only about a 245 or so, but he does have some power, which he should show right away, especially in the Great American Ballpark. I think he'll hit 15 home runs and drive in 60 runs. As far as NL-only options, the Reds have Scott Rowland at third base. He's still good when he's healthy, but the question with him is always, can he play 120 games or not? I think he can, and I think he'll rack up a 285 batting average, hit 15 home runs, and drive in 70 to 75 runs. Zach Cozart, the shortstop, had his season end prematurely last year with an elbow injury, and the question with him is also, can he hit for average? He never had much of a track record of doing that in the minor leagues, but all of a sudden he came up to the majors and hit for a good average. So which is the real Zach Cozart? I think he can hit for a good average in the majors. I'm forecasting he'll hit for 265 to 270 as an average this year. 10 home runs, 50 RBIs, and 15 stolen bases, which is definitely useful from an NL-only shortstop. Chris Heisey is the Reds' fourth outfielder. He plays a lot, though, and it's possible that he could eventually push Ryan Ludwig aside and start at left field. He'll hit for Heisey, that is, will hit for a 270 average, roughly 15 home runs, 45 runs batted in, and 10 steals. The aforementioned Ryan Ludwig is also an NL-only option in the outfield. The question with him is, does he have something left in the tank or not? We know he can hit for power, but his average has been going steadily downhill since his career year with the Cardinals several years back. I think he'll hit 245 to 250, hit 10 home runs, and drive in 60 runs. And lastly, as far as the NL options go, Ryan Hanigan. He might be a good catcher, a second catcher for those of you who play in NL-only leagues. He may start the season as the Reds' primary catcher, but it won't be long before Devin Mesoraco takes over full-time as the primary catcher. Hanigan, the one good thing about him is his batting average. He'll hit about 275, 280, hit 3 home runs, and I think he'll drive in 20 runs even when he moves to a part-time role. A couple other players also worth keeping an eye on for the Reds are utility man Todd Frazier, who looked good when he came up last year, but doesn't really have a position right now. But with injuries, he may find himself a permanent position. And also Juan Francisco, who's a young power-hitting third baseman. He's had a couple of cups of coffee with the Reds already, but he's really only a Scott Rowland injury away from being a very decent fantasy source of power. So please visit Fantasy Baseball Sherpa for customizable player projections and rankings of over 700 hitters. They're constantly updated throughout spring training. If you want to, you can follow us on Twitter. The Twitter handle for us is @fantasy_Sherpa. And I'm Scott Swanay with Fantasy Baseball Sherpa. We'll see you next time.